I never meant to hurt him. Not really. But I also never meant to stay bored forever. My name's Amber and I'm 34. I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to feel bad. But I don't. Not really. It started with a new guy at work, Silas. He had this confidence that Grant lost years ago. The kind that makes you lean in when he talks. We were working late one night, just the two of us in the office. The way he looked at me across the desk wasn't how Grant looked at me anymore. Grant used to look at me like I hung the moon. Now he looks at me like I'm a problem to solve. Silas didn't see me as a problem. He saw me as someone exciting, someone worth staying late for. The first time we kissed was in the supply closet. Pathetic, I know, but the thrill. God, I hadn't felt that in years. Grant and I met in college. He was sweet, attentive, called me every night before bed. Back then, I thought that was everything. Now I know it's just boring. We got married right after graduation. Everyone said we were perfect together. And we were, I guess, for a while. The first few years were good. Great even. But then something changed. Or maybe I did. Grant started talking about therapy, about growth and boundaries and communication. Suddenly every conversation felt like a session. He'd ask how I felt, and I'd say fine. But that wasn't enough. He wanted details. He wanted to process things. I'd come home from work exhausted, and he'd want to talk about our emotional connection. Meanwhile, I'm thinking about the pile of laundry, the bills, the fact that we haven't had sex in 2 weeks, but he wants to talk about feelings. In public, Grant was the perfect husband. He'd hold my hand, introduce me with pride, tell everyone how lucky he was, and I'd play along. I'd smile and laugh and be the perfect wife. But in private, I couldn't stand his constant need to work on things. Silas didn't want to work on things. Silas wanted to have fun. He took me to this underground jazz club downtown, the kind of place Grant would hate. Too loud, too crowded, too alive. We drank and danced, and I felt like I was 21 again. The next morning, I woke up in Grant's arms feeling guilty, but not guilty enough. When he kissed me goodbye and told me he loved me, I said it back, and I meant it. In my own way, Grant had been going to therapy for about a year when things really started falling apart. He came home one day with this new look in his eye. Calm, determined. "We need to talk," he said, sitting me down on the couch we bought together. "Here we go." I thought, another feeling session. "I've been doing a lot of work on myself," he started, "and I've realized some things about our relationship." I nodded, already bored. "I love you, Amber, but I feel like I'm the only one putting in the effort here. I go to therapy. I read the books. I try to communicate, but you don't meet me halfway." I felt my face get hot. "What are you talking about? I'm here, aren't I? I go to work. I come home. I take care of this house. What more do you want? I want you to care. About us. About yourself. About anything." That's when I started crying. Not because I felt bad, but because I knew it would make him stop. It always worked. Tears were my get-out-of-conversation-free card. Grant sighed, his shoulders slumping. "I don't want to fight. I just want us to be honest with each other." "I am being honest," I sobbed. "I'm doing the best I can." He pulled me into his arms and I let him, even though I was rolling my eyes inside. So predictable. Things with Silas were getting more serious. He'd text me throughout the day, little things that made me smile. Grant used to do that, but now his texts were about grocery lists and reminders to take out the trash. Silas took me to this art show one weekend. Grant was visiting his mom, so I told him I was going out with friends. The art was weird and modern, exactly the kind Grant would pretend to like but actually hate. Silas understood it. He explained the pieces to me in this low voice that gave me chills. Afterward, we went back to his apartment. It was small and messy, nothing like the clean, organized home Grant and I had, but it felt alive. Real. We slept together that night. I didn't feel guilty, not even a little. Grant had been neglecting me for years. What did he expect? The next morning, I rushed home to shower before Grant got back. He walked in with this big smile, holding a box of donuts. "Guess what?" he said. "I talked to my therapist about us, and she gave me some exercises we can try to reconnect." I almost laughed. "Reconnect?"
If only he knew.
"That's great," I said, taking a donut. "I'm just so tired today." His face fell. We don't have to do them right now, but soon." "Okay." I nodded, already planning my next meeting with Silas. Grant kept trying. God, he kept trying. He'd plan date nights, suggest weekend trips, leave me little notes. and I'd go through the motions. But my heart wasn't in it. How could it be when I was getting everything I needed from Silas? In public, I was the doting wife. I'd hold Grant's hand, laugh at his jokes, tell our friends how amazing he was. They all loved him. How could they not? He was perfect. Perfectly boring. In private, I was different. I'd criticize his clothes, his job, his hobbies. Nothing was good enough. He'd suggest a restaurant and I'd find something wrong with it. He'd want to watch a movie and I'd complain about his choice. Nothing made me happy anymore. Silas made me happy. He didn't care about restaurants or movies. He cared about me. About the real me, not the perfect wife I pretended to be for Grant. One night, Grant came home and found me crying on the couch. Real tears this time, because Silas had stood me up for some work thing. "What's wrong?" Grant asked, rushing to my side. "Nothing," I said, wiping my eyes, just feeling down. He sat next to me and put his arm around me. "I want to talk about it?" I shook my head, leaning into him. "Just hold me." And he did. He held me while I thought about another man. How messed up is that? The affair went on for months. I got careless. I stopped deleting texts, left my phone unlocked. Part of me wanted Grant to find out. Part of me wanted him to fight for me, to show me he cared. But he didn't. Not until it was too late. He found my phone open to a text from Silas. A dirty text. I came home to find him sitting at the kitchen table, my phone in front of him. "What's this?" he asked, his voice eerily calm. I panicked. "It's not what it looks like." "Really?" "Because it looks like you're having an affair." The word hung in the air between us. Affair. It sounded so sordid, so unlike me. "I can explain." I started, tears welling in my eyes. "I don't want an explanation," he said. "I want you to leave." I stared at him. "What?" "Pack a bag and go." "I can't look at you right now." "But this is our home," I cried. Real tears this time. "Where am I supposed to go?" "That's not my problem," he said, standing up. "Be gone by the time I get back." He walked out, leaving me alone in our home. Our perfect, boring home. I called Silas, but he didn't answer. Typical. I was on my own. I packed a bag and went to a hotel. The next few days were a blur of crying, calling Grant, begging him to talk to me. He wouldn't. He just sent a text. "We need time apart." Time apart turned into separation. Separation turned into divorce papers. And through it all, Silas was nowhere to be found. He stopped answering my calls, blocked me on social media. I was alone. Grant and I met with a mediator to divide our assets. He was calm, reasonable. I was a mess. "I don't want this." I told him, crying. "I want to work things out." He shook his head. "It's too late for that." "Amber, you made your choice." "But I love you," I insisted. "I always have. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done what you did," he said, his voice breaking. "You wouldn't have lied to me for months." I tried to explain, to make him understand, but he didn't want to hear it. The divorce was finalized quickly. Grant got the house, most of our savings, even the dog. I got an apartment downtown and a lot of free time to think about what I'd done. But I didn't. Not really. Instead, I blamed Grant. If he had been more attentive, more exciting, more like Silas, I never would have strayed. If he hadn't been so obsessed with therapy and feelings, maybe we could have been happy. I saw him a few months after the divorce. He was with a new woman. She was pretty in a natural way, not done up like I usually was. They were holding hands, laughing about something. He looked happy, genuinely happy. I wanted to go over there, to tell him it was all a mistake, that I still loved him. But I didn't. I just watched as they walked away together. That's when it hit me. I had lost everything. My husband, my home, my marriage, and for what? A guy who disappeared the minute things got tough. I tried to date, but it was useless. No one compared to Grant. No one was as kind, as patient, as loving, and I had thrown it all away. Now I'm alone in this apartment, surrounded by boxes I still haven't unpacked. I look at my phone, hoping Grant will call, even though I know he won't. I scroll through his social media, see pictures of him with his new girlfriend. They look happy, really happy. Sometimes I think about reaching out, about telling him I'm sorry, that I've changed, but I haven't. Not really. I'm still the same person who cheated on her husband, who blamed him for her mistakes, who cried to get out of difficult conversations. The other day, I ran into a mutual friend. She told me Grant and his girlfriend are moving in together. that they're talking about getting married. I smiled and said I was happy for him. But I wasn't. I was furious. How dare he move on so easily? How dare he be happy without me? I know it's irrational. I know I have no right to be angry. But I'm angry at Grant for not fighting harder for us. I'm angry at Silas for using me and then disappearing. I'm angry at our friends for taking his side. But mostly, I'm angry at myself for being stupid enough to throw away the best thing that ever happened to me. But I'll never admit that. Not to Grant. Not to our friends. Not even to myself. It's easier to be angry than to face the truth. I messed up. I messed up big time. And now I'm paying the price. Last week, I got a wedding invitation. Grant and his girlfriend are getting married next month. Part of me wants to go, to show him what he's missing. But I won't. I can't. Because I know I'll see how happy he is. How in love. And it will kill me. So I'll sit here alone in my apartment, scrolling through pictures of the man I lost, wondering how things could have been different if I had just been honest with myself and with him. But I'll never tell him that. I'll never admit I was wrong. Because even now, after everything, I still can't take responsibility for what I did. And that's the saddest part of all.